is
Hello and welcome into Buffalo Wild Wings for the It's Fine podcast, and we've got a special edition this time around. We've got Jeremy Stevens here, the theater director, and down there is Mr. Justin Rosser, and he is the show choir director, also all things choir, right? Many things under that umbrella. But I'm excited about this conversation. You guys bring a lot of energy, so I feel like there's going to be a high energy tonight, right? And I want to start with some fun questions so we can really kick things off in a big way.
Do it.
The first one, what's the best concert you have ever been to, Mr. Jeremy Stevens?
Bruno Mars at the BOK.
Okay. Mr. Rosser.
There was a concert that our students performed at Carnegie Hall that was life-changing.
Fantastic answer.
Yeah,
I like that
thanks.
answer. If you were on a desert island and you could only have one album to listen to. Oh, both of your eyes just went so big. One album to listen to. What is it? Mr. Jeremy Stevens.
Probably Gershwin, Rhapsody in Blue.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the album, and no one's going to know this artist, but it's the Indigo Girls.
Okay. Interesting. Let's go best Broadway production that you have seen.
That I've seen. Oh, okay.
Hades Town on Broadway.
Okay. Good answer.
Wicked in Oklahoma City. But my favorite musical, and I think Mr. Stevens would understand this, is West Side Story.
That's mine too.
Fantastic. I'm getting into Wicked. I saw the movie at least, so I've got my toes wet.
It's a great movie.
But I've got to learn a lot more. I haven't even seen the second half, and I've been told there's a lot more coming out.
There is a lot more.
Okay, now I know for sure. What is your favorite movie or movies, if you need to answer more than one?
My favorite movie is Dead Poets Society.
Not Steel Magnolias?
No, although it is top 5.
Top 5, okay.
But Dead
Steel
Poets Society
Magnolias,
is my
yeah.
favorite movie.
That's a great one. I like Steel Magnolias, but we can quote it. We often do, so I'm going to choose Steel Magnolias.
That's number 1, okay. Last one for you guys is favorite TV show.
Criminal Minds.
Okay.
My favorite one? That's a hard question. I don't watch a lot of television, but right now I'm kind of into one that students shouldn't watch, but it's called Yellow Jackets. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
Good show. By the way, I never introduced myself. I'm Dylan Rivera. I tend to do that. I tend to forget to introduce myself on this thing. Excited to have you guys here. Let's talk the weeds now. Let's get into it.
Do it.
Let's start with the theater program. And I want to start there because you guys just came off of your Wizard of Oz show. And you said you felt really pleased when everything was all said and done. You guys had really good crowds all 4 days, all 4 shows. Talk to me just about the whole process of everything and getting to showtime and then the process of everything once it got there.
Sure. So Wizard of Oz wasn't our first choice. I had made 3 choices prior to Wizard of Oz and had been denied each one of them, and finally landed on Wizard of Oz because of the Wicked movie coming out.
Okay.
And then we started rehearsals in early February after school, extracurricular, because I cast 76 kids from 4 years old through high school. And they all have different dismissal times. So getting them to the high school or to the rehearsal facility at a unified time, I had to stagger rehearsals. And that was fun. But I had a fantastic assistant director who's here tonight, Victoria Parker. And Victoria did a lot of that behind the scenes work, whether it's working with the high schoolers or helping wrangle the munchkins. But without her help and a lot of the high school seniors' help, it wouldn't have been as successful as it was.
Yep.
And then when we got to the PAC, March 10th, we just started running the show. And we didn't finish adding all the technical elements, the fog, the steam, the fireballs, all those things that the Wicked Witch shoots. We didn't add those until the last one was added the day before the show opened.
Okay.
Because we were also flying people in the show, and we had to have a week of that to train people. And I wanted to be as safe as possible, which meant we had to plan it out as detailed as possible to make safety our top priority.
Absolutely. And then once the curtain goes up,
it's not my show anymore.
yeah.
It becomes the students' show, and it's all up to them. And they delivered. It was great.
What's that like for you when you're watching the show go on? Are you nervous? Are you just excited?
As the wizard says in the musical, I was petrified. But really, I was just nervous, anxious and nervous for them to make sure that I had done everything I could to make sure they were ready to go.
Yeah. I want to go back to a couple of things you said. And number one is, in the process of choosing a show, what's that like? Because obviously if you propose 3 and they all got denied, it must be a little bit of a process.
It is a process. A lot of the choices require feedback from students in order to make sure that who we have interested in being in the show, it fulfills that need. But it also allows the theater department to work beyond the theater walls, so that there's this collaborative effort to move beyond the theater department and incorporate as many people who are interested as possible. So it has to be a collaborative show as well. Yep. And it is a lengthy process, but fortunately I have Mr. Rosser here, who is a great sounding board in making those decisions, because again, I want to make sure that the decisions that are made aren't just about my department, but are about the fine arts department as a whole.
Absolutely. And then my other spin-off question for you was, with involving so many younger students, what was that like?
Well, first off, when they showed up to the PAC and we were doing technical rehearsals, they knew their part better than anyone else did.
Really?
And that's rightfully so, because we started theirs first. So we knew that they would know what they were doing. But then they also ended up knowing everyone else's parts. And they were very vocal about when someone may miss their mark, which was hysterical, with them pointing out, you're supposed to be over here, which is great, again, because it immediately puts them in contact and on stage with these older students, bridging that gap from elementary school through high school.
And then you guys also had the one-act play that you did in the fall. And that one you were telling me was pretty special for you all. You had added some different elements, but it was also a challenge because you're fresh at this from this past summer, so you had to jump in and get things going right away.
Right. I was probably about 2 weeks behind. By starting on August 1st, I was already 2 weeks behind because everyone else had already chosen their show, and I had to come in and try to figure out what's going to be best for our students, what's the length of show, how many pages is it, how much memorization is that going to require, all those things that go into your thought process when choosing a one-act play. And a one-act play has to be 45 minutes or less, and that includes time for us to cross the timeline, set up our set, act the show, and then cross the timeline again and remove our set. So all of those things come into effect, and I was two weeks behind in choosing this play. So it was very intentional for me to choose one that had 13 players, because then I could cast it in my acting styles class, my top class at the high school, and we could rehearse it during the day.
I watched some of it. It's a pretty interesting show, and one thing that you said right off the start was that this show didn't have a true ending. It was for the viewer, for the audience member to decide for themselves what happens next for those characters, and that's something that I think is kind of a reflection of just any sort of art, right? It's up to the interpreter. But I think that's a really special challenge you kind of gave the audience to kind of come up with their own finish.
Right, and I think also it was a great opportunity for the students to work on their delivery, on what that last scene looked like. Victoria was was one of the last characters on stage, and it gave her and Randy Bolding, the other student who was on stage last, an opportunity to really kind of they could raise the energy level with their tone, or they could lower it and still be very intense. It was all up to them. I gave them complete creative freedom to figure out what that looked like, and that gave them the versatility they needed based on what performance we were at. So which was great, because that allowed that flexibility and adaptability.
Absolutely. I want to touch on you personally for just a moment. We mentioned it just a second ago. Is this being your first year back in the black box, right? Because you had been at the PAC with Tulsa, right?
Correct.
And then came back to the classroom.
Correct.
What's that transition been like for you, and are you pleased with the change?
It has been a great transition, and I mentioned this to you earlier, that there are two things that I forgot. First off, how school finance works, and two, what teacher tired is. Because I find myself being much more tired earlier in the day than I was accustomed to. But it has been a great transition, and I love the fact that me returning to Broken Arrow High School has been almost like a homecoming again, because I knew everybody in the department. So it was great to just walk in and already have that relationship built with the people in the fine arts department. Made it much easier for me to again walk in 2 weeks late and start making decisions and building bridges and whatnot.
Well, I think you've done a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
And speaking of a guy who's done a phenomenal job, let's pivot over to show choir and Mr. Rosser. And this is almost polar opposites, because you've been here since 2011, is that right?
That's right.
And you've had to build your program a little bit differently than maybe some, because you had mentioned to me earlier that show choir was a very small group when you first got here, and it was a very base level program. And now it is the extravaganza that it is. And, man, it is fun to watch what you all do. So just take me through what that's been like for the last decade plus to build it to what it is.
You know, it's a labor of love. It's a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of sweat, blood, and tears, all of it. When I came in 2011, there were 34 show choir students at Broken Arrow High School, and there were 34 students district-wide. That's it. That's all we had. Yeah. And I think now there's over 400 students in 6 through 12 in show choir, so that's impressive in itself. And to take Broken Arrow, which has an amazing fine arts program in general. The choral program has always been really great. Show choir wasn't recognized maybe how it is now, and to take that to a national level and have people around the country know us for our show choir is, I love it. It's great for the kids, and it's a testament to how hard they work too.
I like that you bring up the national level, because that was something that really interested me in our conversation, was that there are different styles around the country, and it's almost geographic, right?
Yes.
And kind of having to take your style into different places, into almost like enemy territory, right? and see how it compares. That's a lot of fun for you and a lot of fun for the students, isn't it?
I think the best part of it for me is taking what we do, which I would say that we tend to model ourselves after California-style schools. They tell the story with their show. It's more theatrical. They use lighting and staging rather than just, for lack of a better word, almost like a drill team-style choreography. But I like to take what we do and take it to places that use those kind of things to show them, hey, show choir is more than what you're used to or what you've been used to. And sometimes they don't know how to take it and how to perceive us, but for the most part, people enjoy what we're doing, and I hope maybe what we do can start to show up other places too.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you had talked about was kind of a tough part of the whole experience, is that it's a subjective thing. Art is subjective. And so sometimes you take it places and you guys run away with a first place finish, and sometimes you might finish third, but you're like, this is a spectacular show, but it's just because of the competition you're in. Is that right?
Yeah, the competition we're in, and maybe even some of the judging panel. You get a wide range of people that have been in show choir for 40, 50 years, maybe that are very staunchly into that style that we talked about earlier. And then you have the younger generation that's probably more interested in what we're doing at Broken Arrow. We took our students to a competition that we've been to in the past. Actually, when Mr. Stevens worked with me in the choral department, we went back to that competition, and we never won that competition because it's in the Midwest, and we are not a Midwestern show choir. But this year, there was something really special. After we left prelims, which is the beginning part of the competition, we were seated in third place. I didn't tell them what place we were in. I didn't want them to freak out about it. But I knew something magical could happen if they would turn their focus on what I knew they were capable of doing. And we had a conversation. I said, do you want to be artists and just sell your art and just be the wonderful artistic ensemble that you are, and who cares what place we get? Or do you want to cross a few T's, dot a few I's the way that they need us to, while still putting our art out there and maybe bring home a championship? And they all said, we want to win. And I said, okay, I need you to lock in. And that's really all I had to say. Their attitude changed, and it was pretty spectacular when we won. I think most of our kids didn't have a dry eye, and a lot of our parents that were with us, chaperones, have been with the program for a long time. Mr. Stevens was on staff even when some of the parents started with us. This is their last year. And watching their reaction was pretty amazing, because they were teary-eyed and floored that our kids just won a Midwestern competition.
Oh. And then you took them out to nationals in California, or a national stage at least. And you told me this: you were the most traveled choir in America, and that's something definitely to wear as a badge of honor. But
yes.
You guys were also able to find a lot of success all around the country. That was not your only top finish, was it? I mean, you guys found a lot of success.
How many did we have this year? 4?
Phone and a friend.
4 top finishes. And at that national competition, during the prelim part of the competition, we were seated in first over a school that has not lost a contest in years.
Wow.
They did wind up winning finals, but to hang out with them and even beat their scores in the preliminary competition was pretty impressive.
I want to talk about your show that you did. You did a playoff of the Deathly Hallows, if that's right, the Harry Potter. But you said you kind of did things a little differently, right? I
mean, the Deathly Hallows is pretty dark. It winds up with a lot of death, hence the name Deathly Hallows. But and we don't want to spend 6 months of our time with that sort of heavy story. So we turned the story, we took Deathly Hallows and twisted it. So basically it was the story of how life goes on. Maybe for us individually, we have a specific amount of time here on Earth, but life and our legacy continues on, or our gifts that we present to the world go on past us. So it was a positive ending.
How was that building that show with your students and kind of figuring out what that was going to look like in the early stages?
Well, even as close in January when we were about to start competing, there was a huge part of the show that I was like, this doesn't make sense. We're in this part of the story, and we've left a lot to an audience to come up with in their mind, and sometimes you can't really do that. You have to kind of beat them over the head with the story. This is what we're trying to tell you. And I had a friend of mine, actually a friend that helped me bring Broken Arrow Show Choir into the national level, who works in Texas. I brought her up and said, help me. Here are the holes, help me fill it in. And the kids had their input with what they thought needed to happen, and we pieced that story together to something pretty special and magical.
Yeah. I think it was a really successful year for you all.
Yes.
You guys had a lot of really great shows, and you're going to need some more troopers to add to that.
That's
right. Tryouts Monday through Friday, May 5th through the 9th, at the Broken Arrow High School cafeteria. Where can they find the place to sign up? How can they do so?
So they can, every school choir director has a form with a QR code. They can go to their choir room at their site and scan that QR code, and at Broken Arrow High School we have those posted around the campus already. If you have any questions, you can also find a choir student that they would be happy to help you get signed up. If that's too much for you, come see me. And I'm pretty easy to talk to. I'll help you get signed up. The more we have, the better. There's no previous experience required. I just want you to come in with a attitude of excitement and willing to put yourself out of your comfort zone, because it is different.
Yeah.
Dancing and singing is, it's kind of hard, but we want people to come in and try it.
Absolutely.
Come to audition, see what it's like. If it's not for you, then you came and saw.
Absolutely. Get out of your comfort zone and at least give it a shot.
That's right.
And the theater has a couple of things we got to plug as well, right? Theater Dining Night, April 29th, 4 to 8 p.m. Where is it at, and what can people do?
It is at Oklahoma Joe's in Broken Arrow, and between the hours of 4 and 8, you come dine and mention the Broken Arrow High School Theater Department, and we get a portion of the sales for that evening, which will be great.
Good. Yeah. And then Theater Camp, June 2nd through the 6th. What's
June
that about?
2nd through the 6th. Anyone coming into 6th grade and into 9th grade, so 6th through 9th grade, can register. It is $150 per student, but it'll be at the Kirkland Theater. And they will get T-shirts and food and all kinds of wonderful things from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. the June 2nd through the 6th, with a performance at 6 p.m. on June 6th at the Kirkland Theater.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me up here. You guys are going to be a tough act to follow, but you've got some really successful students that I know are going to join me up here in just a moment. We're going to start with the show choir students. They'll be up next here on the It's Fine podcast at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, Broken Arrow fans! Score big with TTCU Federal Credit Union School Pride Card. Each time you use your card, we donate to Broken Arrow Public Schools, adding to the $2.5 million we've given statewide. TTCU, where members are raving fans.
Introducing QT Pay, the easiest way to transform every trip and every gallon into instant savings every time you pay. QT Pay. It just makes sense.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we're devoted to improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends and neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Shields is now open at the Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa, and we can't thank you enough for the warm welcome. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for everyone. Our passionate and knowledgeable Shields experts are excited to welcome you to explore thousands of brands and premium products. From our golf simulator, service shop, archery lanes, and more, we're ready to get you fitted with the best gear for you. We can't wait to see you at Shields.
If you and your family have been waiting for the perfect time to jump into your dream home, it's here. We make buying a new home as easy as it is exciting with quick credit approvals and great rates. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to the It's Fine podcast here at the Buffalo Wild Wings here in Broken Arrow. And I've got 3 show choir students up here joining me. I feel like they deserve a round of applause for joining me up here on the set. We've got Dylan Everett down there on the end. He is a senior. Gabe Palmer, a junior, right there in the middle. And then Emma Lee Hill here right next to me. And I wrote down next to all 3 of you guys' name, All-State, and I underlined it twice. So congratulations to all 3 of you for making All-State. And I want to start with Dylan because Dylan has been in this for years, right? You're a senior, so this is your last ride. But you can kind of speak to the perspective of the program. How have you seen it grow and become what it is over the last however many years?
Well, every single year, the program has improved so much. Like, every senior class has been great and improved so much from the last one. And it's just the way our shows have been done, too. We've been able to tell our stories better, I think, and it's been great. And also, like, the style of our choreo has changed over time, and it's been lovely to see.
When you say the style has changed, what do you mean? Like, what does that look like?
It's like, earlier on, it felt like it was, like we had some more sharper moments, and then as it kept going on, it felt like we had more flowy movement that helped tell our softer stories that we had.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you one more thing about, when you see some of those wide-eyed freshmen or wide-eyed sophomores, whatever they are, come in and join the program, and they have never been a part of show choir, and it is a rush. What does that look like when you are maybe the upperclassman, or maybe you've been in those shoes and you saw it for the first time and you were stunned? But speaking to that, what's that like seeing those students?
There are some people who are seniors and were newer to show choir, and you can see them grow so fast, and it's so exciting and pleasant to see. One of my favorite things to see, really.
And Gabe, I want to transition over to you. For you all this year doing the Deathly Hallows and maybe softening that blow a little bit, right? But what was that show like for you? What was your favorite part of the show? And what was something that really stuck out to you through the process of it?
This show for me, I don't know, I really enjoyed it because it goes from telling a story to like just being really sweet, because it goes from like, oh, this is like so cool, and there's like this death stuff and wow, candles and blowing out, and then like it goes from telling 3 separate stories to bringing them all together and kind of like you said, softening the blow, and like turning it into something really sweet and giving the image that life goes on and it moves on. What was another question they asked? I'm sorry.
I just asked, like, what stuck out from the process of building the show or performing the show?
Probably the drastic change in choreo throughout the entire show, because it goes from being like really sticky and quick and cool to like flowy and smooth, sort of setting the ending story to be less dramatic and more settled and ready to end, and saying here's what happened and it's ending in sort of a soft, sweet tone.
Yeah. What are those storytelling moments like? I mean, I think it's a little different to Mr. Rosser had talked to me about doing like a 5-set show where it's you hit 5 songs and that's it. But you guys tell a story. And what's that like for you all on the stage to be able to be a part of that and to be able to tell something from beginning to end to the audience?
Well, I think it's mainly storytelling. I think it's a lot better than just regular clicky show choir, because rather than, this same old thing, it's this song, ballad, end. It's like, we have a story to tell and it has a moral and we can share that with the audience. So for me, it's like, it feels wonderful and connecting rather than win. It's like, okay, we might not win, but we have a story to tell and we can share it and leave an impact on the audience.
Absolutely. And Emily, for you all going to that national landscape in California, I asked Mr. Rosser, I was like, did they respond differently? Did the eyes get wider? Did anybody feel like they were more nervous? And he said, that it seemed like, from his point of view, that you guys were able to handle it pretty smoothly. Was that something that for you were a little nervous about, going out and performing on a bigger stage?
Yes, I would say that I was more nervous to perform in front of a bigger audience, and that I knew had more of an influence over show choir itself. I personally was really nervous, but I know that some of my classmates were really excited and they were ready to win.
Yeah, and you all get to travel a lot for show choir. Is that something that you kind of look at as a blessing, to be able to go from, state to state and perform your show for so many different people?
Yes, I would say that it expands us as a group, and we get to, like Mr. Rosser said, spread our type of show choir around the world.
I think one thing that's really interesting is like talking about those geographic styles. And Mr. Rosser says that your style is a little bit more akin to the California style of show choir. But then taking that into the Midwest, where it's a little bit different, right? And going out and getting a victory there is pretty impressive. For you all to do that speaks volumes about the show and about you all as a whole, right? And what was that process like? What was that performance like? What was it like for you all to go to Iowa and come away with a win?
It was huge. I mean, in prelims, when we accepted the second place runner-up award, in the moment I was really crushed, and then Rosser gave that amazing speech, and it really lifted my spirits. I was ready to win. I don't know about you guys, but I was.
Yeah, do you feel the same way, Gabe?
I was definitely ready. I wasn't, because it's Iowa. They're more of that Midwest choreo style that's sticky. I didn't think we were going to win, but I felt like either way I was proud because people actually liked our show a whole lot.
Yeah. Dylan, I want to ask you about just kind of the those moments when you hear Broken Arrow's name called, right? Or maybe you hear everybody else's name called and then Broken Arrow's number one. What's that winning moment like for you all?
It's one of the best feelings, especially whenever you're like really not sure what place you're gonna get, because there's so many great groups there, and just having the anticipation the adrenaline you get from it is really nice, and then hearing that name call is amazing.
And you guys put a lot of work into your show. I mean, it is endless rehearsals, right? Mm-hmm. And I want you to take me through what that looks like, because for a lot of people watching or listening, they may not know what a show choir rehearsal looks like. Take me from like when you walk in the door for, I'm guessing it's one of your 6th hour or maybe right after school, and then till when you're able to leave. What's that process like?
So we start rehearsals at 6:45 in the morning. So we come to
Before school?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And what we do, it depends on what the show needs. Sometimes we'll spend the entire hour on one song, maybe two, and then usually near competition season, we'll just be able to run the show, and whatever spots need work, we'll be able to clean up and then move on and just keep going through and getting the trouble spots down.
What are the process of finding those trouble spots looks like? Because Mr. Rosser told me that sometimes he lets you all figure it out on your own, those little gray areas that you need to shore up.
Yeah, like we're able to look in the mirror and see what needs to be done, and sometimes we already know what it is because we've gone over it so many times and we know what to do. We just sometimes need the reminder, I suppose.
I want to ask about you guys' your journey just to get into show choir. For Emily, what was your process of joining and becoming a part of the program?
I've been in choir since 6th grade, and I didn't get into show choir until about halfway through 8th grade. I moved to Oklahoma after being in Texas for so many years, and I had walked in for my first day of 8th grade, and the choir director was down there, and I had mentioned joining show choir, and she absolutely just hit me over the head with the, you have to join, it's so fun. And Gabe was actually one of the first few people that I met and made really good friends with, and he kept me in, and I loved it. It was really a place for me to, like, learn how to be myself is the wrong word, but it built a place for me to be myself.
Absolutely. Gabe, what was your journey like?
Okay, I'm not going to say my whole life story, but I've been singing like my entire life, and I moved around a lot, and then in 6th grade, I went to Childers. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was like, I like to sing. And Mom was like, you know what, show choir could be a really cool opportunity for you. So I was like, okay, I don't know what the heck that is, but sure. My little 4'9" self walked into that room, sang Tomorrow by from Annie. And everybody was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, show choir is clearly the place for me. And I've made a community and a family with it for so long, I couldn't imagine myself leaving ever.
Can I get the video of you singing Annie?
No.
Dylan, what about your journey through it?
I think I've been singing ever since I was in 4th grade. I've been in choir since I was in 5th. I did men's choir 6th grade, and it was... and then the choir teacher at Oliver, Miss Johnson, is like, join show choir. And I was like, okay. And then I did it 7th grade, and I've been doing it ever since.
So, in a good way, it seems like you guys were all almost like pushed towards it,
Yes.
but in a positive way, because you found where you wanted to be, right? What's the environment like in the rehearsals, in performances? Like, you guys are a big group, but you guys travel so much together. You're around each other so much. I feel like you've got to be pretty close-knit, right, Emily?
Yeah, there are some rehearsals where we get really out of hand and squirrely, and then other rehearsals where we're really locked in. The environment kind of changes based on what's been happening recently. Like, if we win a competition, we're really excited and we're ready to rehearse. And if we didn't do so well in a recent rehearsal, the mood's kind of down and we're all kind of in the dumps.
For sure.
Bitey.
Do you guys feel like it gets kind of difficult with the fact that, it is a subjective art, and sometimes you feel like maybe you put out a really, really good performance, and like you said, getting that second place at prelims, like, it makes your heart sink a little bit. Is that something that's just really tough for you to get a handle on, Gabe?
Well, personally, I kind of accept that. I'm like, okay, we got second place. Maybe this isn't what the judges were looking for, because every judge is different. You never know what they're gonna like. You don't know what maybe type they're looking for, or maybe we didn't give them what they needed. So whenever we get second place, I'm like, okay, maybe we didn't do our best, or maybe the judges just didn't like it, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see Gabe and Emily, what you guys have in store next year.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Dylan, you are on the way out. What are your plans for post-graduation?
I'm planning on going into a musical theater forward.
Yeah.
Because I get to sing, dance, act, do what I love.
Do what you love. That's right. I also want to give a shout out to Dylan. I got this little note slipped to me. Just got nominated for the Discovery Awards. The high school Tony Awards, basically, is what they are. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, congratulations on that, Dylan. It's much deserved, for sure. You guys can probably speak to this better than even Mr. Roster maybe can, is the tryouts. Why should somebody come try out, Emily?
Because it's fun. I just think it's such a beautiful community. Again, it really made a place for me to be myself, and I just don't think that I would get that kind of experience anywhere else.
Yeah. Gabe, would you say the same thing?
Same thing. It's wonderful community. You get to perform on stage, and the adrenaline is just like so amazing.
Dylan, anything you want to add?
Yeah, you get to meet so many nice people, and if you really have a passion for it, it can really help you find what you want to do going forward.
Certainly. So try out Monday through Friday, May 5th through the 9th. After school until 6 p.m., Broken Arrow High School cafeteria. I have all that written down, so I got to make sure I get it in. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Here after the commercial break, we'll have some theater students joining me here at the Buffalo Wild Wings at Broken Arrow.
Hey, Broken Arrow fans! Score big with TTCU Federal Credit Union's School Pride Card. Each time you use your card, we donate to Broken Arrow Public Schools, adding to the $2.5 million we've given statewide. TTCU, where members are raving fans.
Introducing QT Pay, the easiest way to transform every trip and every gallon into instant savings every time you pay. QT Pay, it just makes sense.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we're devoted to improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends and neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Shields is now open at the Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa, and we can't thank you enough for the warm welcome. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for everyone. Our passionate and knowledgeable Shields experts are excited to welcome you to explore thousands of brands and premium products. From our golf simulator, service shop, archery lanes, and more, we're ready to get you fitted with the best gear for you. We can't wait to see you at Shields.
If you and your family have been waiting for the perfect time to jump into your dream home, It's here. We make buying a new home as easy as it is exciting with quick credit approvals and great rates. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to Buffalo Wild Wings and the It's Fine podcast. We have 3 of our theater students up here now with me. Right next to me is Victoria Parker. That's Addie Roden. And down on the end is Patrick O'Brien, and otherwise known as the assistant director to The Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch, and the Cowardly Lion, or one of the Cowardly Lions. I'll start with you, Patrick, since you seem fired up and ready to go. What was it like performing The Wizard of Oz?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible, dude. Getting up on that stage and just putting it all out there, acting as the lion. Like, people grow up with The Wizard of Oz. I grew up with The Wizard of Oz, and getting to honor that role on stage in front of Broken Arrow was just the greatest experience ever. Getting to meet all these friends, make friends. I just had so much fun. Was that a role that you had always felt like you could fit into? Well, at first I didn't see myself fitting into the lion. I was like, I don't know. But then as I started reading, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah. 100%. Like, no doubt about it. Addie, I feel like I'm going to ask you that question too, but I don't think I would call you wicked, hopefully.
No.
But do you feel like you could fit into the Wicked Witch role?
Okay, well, the Wicked Witch role was something that I could have never imagined I would get to play. Very outside of my comfort zone kind of character. I'm also terrified of heights. And I had to learn how to use a fly rig. But I think I can relate to her in a sense of wanting something so bad you'll do anything to get it, because I'm pretty determined. But the Wicked Witch of the West herself, I would not say is exactly me, but so much fun to play. I had a blast every night getting to perform.
Yeah, what was it like being on that stage and being able to perform a show that, like Patrick had said, is something I think a lot of us have grown up with?
Yeah, it was really incredible, especially when I told my mom that I got the Wicked Witch. Oh, she was so happy because she was like, that is such an iconic role, and I was like, I know, and I just was really hoping that I'd do it justice on stage, while also getting to put my own kind of twist on it, especially since this was our senior show. I was just very lucky that I got the opportunity to play the Wicked Witch.
Now, Victoria, you were a little more behind the scenes. You're the nuts and the bolts that kind of makes the show happen.
I sure was.
And take me through your role and what it looks like to be the assistant director for the show.
So, to be fair, I don't think I had ever been in a show where we had a student assistant director, so I wasn't really sure what my job was, and I didn't get like a job description or anything on paper. So it was kind of me figuring out what people needed and what I could provide for them. And like having castmates and like friends who are in the show who understand that I'm trying to help them and being able to give them what they need. It was like, if you need help like with your lines, then I'll grab a script and I'll read it like with you. Or if you need help with blocking, then I'll make something up and give it to you to do. But there was never a time where I felt like I was stuck, and everyone was like always there with each other. So being assistant director was just like being the glue that holds everyone together.
Yeah. On the day of the performances, what does your role look like?
Ooh. So I kind of got shifted from assistant director to a stage manager, where I'm calling cues. So when things are happening on stage, I'm making them happen. Like when things are going out, I'm saying, okay, we're ready for this to go out. Okay, we're ready for this to come back in. Okay, lights off. Okay, lights on. And like drops on, drops off. Wicked Witch is flying in. Wicked Witch is flying off. Everything I did was kind of like scene by scene, play by play.
Yeah. So this is something I'm just curious about now that you bring this up. Is it chaotic behind the curtain, or is it orderly?
It is
it's
absolutely chaotic. Oh my goodness. But it is fun chaos. It was never out of control. It was always like we could always handle it. So it was never like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what was going on. It was always something that was like orderly chaos because I wasn't sure always, because I don't think the curtain ever came up at the same time every night. I never knew, but I took a guess and I was right.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like you guys had a lot of fun with that show, and seems like it was a winner all around. As Mr. Stevens had brought up that you guys had great attendance for all of the shows. I want to ask you this, though. Do you still get nervous right before a show? Do you still get nervous when you get out there on the stage, Patrick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Heart is beating right before you get out there. You're back there with your castmates, and you're like, oh, man, everything's got to go right. Everything's got to go right. But, like, the first 5 minutes you're out there on stage, you sort of get into this flow state where you look out into the audience and you realize, I'm putting a show on for these guys. Like, it's like no matter what happens, it's going to be great, and I'm going to do great. And then you get in this flow state, and when you're like midway through second act, you're not nervous anymore. You're just having fun at that point.
Yeah. Is that sort of your same mentality, Hattie?
I think for me, it's mainly I'm worried about messing up for my peers on stage because I don't want it to affect their performance if I do mess up. That's why it's really important when performing that you get into, you're comfortable with your castmates and you trust them because you know that if you mess up, they'll pick right back up where you messed up, and the show just keeps on rolling. So I think over the years I've gotten a lot less nervous, but I do still get like kind of shaky beforehand. But like Patrick was saying, once I'm out there, and everything feels great.
I want to go back to the fall now, and let's talk about the one-act play that you guys had performed. And that one obviously was pretty tough with Mr. Stevens just jumping in, and then you guys had to quickly get it out. And then that one is performed at the OSSAA level, where you guys are performing once, I believe, you guys performed at Union, and then regionals, and then you go to state, right? So that one's like a competition. For the one-act play, is that something that you all enjoy, like having that like competition aspect of the theater side of things?
Absolutely. When we did one act my junior year, because that was the first year I was able to compete, it was a whole different side of theater that I never thought I'd ever like be able to see before and be a part of. Where competing, it wasn't like whose art was better, but it was how much are you giving into this? How much are you willing to put on that stage to do your best? And you never felt like you were losing. You always felt like you were showing what you can do and your skills and your talent and what you're passionate about. And this year when we did it, it was like we picked a show that we didn't really know all that well, and the characters didn't have descriptions, so we were able to just be ourselves on stage, which felt really like vulnerable for us to be able to be who we are on stage, but also still be like theater kids and be characters and just give all of our emotion and passion for that show.
How different was that first performance at Union as opposed to your next one at regionals? I mean, I feel like you guys had to have taken a pretty big leap, right?
It was so at Union it's a festival, and then regionals is a competition. So for Union, it felt like everyone there was your friend and no one was against you. But then it was like a dip into a cold water whenever we went to regionals, because it felt a little more like. But also we hosted regionals, so it was a friendly environment because it was at our home turf.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to worry about like messing with anyone else's stuff or breaking anything because it was our home.
For sure, yeah. A little bit more of a comfortability when it's there. And then the show itself, how much fun did you have being a part of that, Addie, and being able to construct that show from square one?
I really loved our one act this past year just because it felt like me and a bunch of my friends all doing this show together and getting to experience, like, my thing about every show is that you are never going to do a show with those same people ever again. And I think with one act, it was especially, it felt like that because, I mean, senior year, our last competition, and we got to host regionals like Tori was talking about. It was a whole different ball game. And I really enjoyed getting to play my character and getting to interact with my friends on stage as their characters. And I just thought overall it was a very, a big learning experience for me.
How challenging is it to get the set out, perform, get it out in 45 minutes?
Well, it takes a lot of preparation, especially during those last few weeks of rehearsal. We are timing every performance. We are pushing the set out on stage, timing it before we even start that, and then performing the whole show, taking the set off and stopping that timer. And all while having to make sure you're not going over any lines, you're being nice in other people's space, especially at Union Festival, because it's not where we're used to performing, so we have to get used to a whole different area. But I mean, it's stressful, but I feel like this year we had a very good group of people, and we were able to make it the least stressful that it could be.
Patrick, talk to me a little bit about the show itself. I mentioned with Mr. Stevens and how the end of the show was kind of open to the audience's interpretation.
I felt like the show was very psychological because you couldn't really tell what was going on with these characters. For my character, I was talking about memories and dreams, and so, I could relate to the audience with, my memories factor, nostalgia. And so I think the ending made it interesting because you didn't know what was going to happen, but we definitely made the audience think something bad happened, but you didn't know what happened.
Yeah, leaving
it's that mystery, that psychological, what's going to happen to these kids? All these kids are out here in this forest. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Every actor on that stage had their own idea of what was going to happen, but nothing was certain.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I think that's really strong as a piece of art then. But I want to ask you also about just being at a one-act competition, whether that's regionals or at the festival in Union or something like that. What's the environment like? Is it like something that, I think to some other arts or some other sports where sometimes you watch the competition and you kind of just see what they're doing? Are you guys enjoying other schools' shows while you're also getting ready to perform yours?
Yes. Usually during competitions, we like to sit in the audience and watch the other shows, and it's absolutely amazing. So many great schools put so many great shows on. They make us cry. They make us laugh, they make us think, and I enjoy each year I've been in one act, I've enjoyed watching all the shows, especially at State. My junior year, we went to State, and we got to watch 9 shows the whole day, and we saw some incredible shows, incredible talent from all around the state, and it inspired me. It inspired me as a person now. And I think that's just what's so great about those competitions is that it can inspire something into you.
Yeah, absolutely. Victoria, I didn't ask beforehand, but are you a senior?
Yes.
So one of the questions I asked Mr. Stevens when I talked to him earlier today was about the group of seniors who had, been through the program for a few years, and suddenly their senior year, there's a new theater director. And I want to ask you about that. Just jumping in August with him and getting the one-act play prepared, and then obviously now having been through the fall and now the spring with him. What's it like getting to work with him in the Black Box?
So my friend who I met my junior year from musical had worked with Stevens before, and so I heard a little bit about him from there. But I think personally I welcomed him with open arms because he's new here and I kind of knew the ropes, so I was willing to do whatever, because when I started drama in middle school, I started learning everything right off the bat. And so once I got to sophomore, junior year, it felt like I knew everything. And there was always so much learning, and having a new teacher, it felt like I was learning something new every day, even though it was all the same stuff, just in a different way, because you can never stop learning theater in different ways.
Yeah, a fresh perspective, right? And it
Absolutely.
brings in different eyeballs, and that's always good. Theater Dining Night, April 29th, 4 to 8 p.m. It'll help fund the theater program for students just like these three. And Theater Camp, June 2nd through the 6th. Did any of you three go through Theater Camp?
No, but we will be chaperoning this
Oh, there you
year.
go. All right, so they will be there. So if you join Theater Camp, you sign up for it. You can meet Victoria, you can meet Addie, and you can meet Patrick. We thank you for tuning in to the It's Fine podcast. We have one more portion of the show to go, and we're going to have Adam Foreman, the Associate Director of Fine Arts, join us up here at the Buffalo Wild Wings here in Broken Arrow.
Hey, Broken Arrow fans, score big with TTCU Federal Credit Union School Pride Card. Each time you use your card, we donate to Broken Arrow Public Schools, adding to the $2.5 million we've given statewide. TTCU, where members are raving fans.
Introducing QT Pay, the easiest way to transform every trip and every gallon into instant savings every time you pay. QT Pay. It just makes sense.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we're devoted to improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends and neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Shields is now open at the Woodland Hills Mall in Tulsa, and we can't thank you enough for the warm welcome. Whether you love the great outdoors, sports, or fashion, Shields has something for everyone. Our passionate and knowledgeable Shields experts are excited to welcome you to explore thousands of brands and premium products. From our golf simulator, service shop, archery lanes, and more, we're ready to get you fitted with the best gear for you. We can't wait to see you at Shields.
If you and your family have been waiting for the perfect time to jump into your dream home, it's here. We make buying a new home as easy as it is exciting with quick credit approvals and great rates. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to the It's Fine podcast here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Dylan Rivera alongside me, Adam
Nobody
Foreman,
was here to clap.
the Associate Director of Fine Arts, Greg Spencer, the Director of ArrowVision down there on the end. And I want to start, Adam, with talking to you just about your journey and how you've got to be in the position you were in. I know it's taken some turns, but you are here now, and
lots of
you're
turns.
doing a great job.
Hairpin turns. Well, before I start, I'd like to say first how amazing our kids are that were on here with you earlier.
Absolutely.
Our fine arts kids, like across all disciplines, are so just well-spoken, great kids, creative kids. I always tell people, like, we have the best kids in the school district.
Absolutely.
So anyway, but back to me. Yeah, I've been with the fine arts department now for about 3 years, and I have a very big background in the arts world, both as a performer and behind the scenes. And when I was put into this position back in 2022, good grief, it's been that long.
That wasn't that long ago.
But
That's kind of what I was thinking.
It feels like, well, in pandemic years, it's like 15 years.
That's true.
It's just the perfect fit because it not only supports what I love and do in my personal life, but being here for the kids and for the staff members is just completely exhilarating to support that because it's a big machine.
Absolutely.
The fine arts machine is huge. I mean, we have over 9,700 kids enrolled in fine arts in Broken Arrow, 6th through 12th grade.
Wow.
And when you think about we have 20,000 kids in the entire district, that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then our fine arts teachers, we have 95 fine arts teachers in the district. So that is a lot of people that cover visual arts, orchestra, vocal music, band, theater, speech and drama, debate, all that stuff. So I feel like I get to support every facet of that. And it's never boring. It changes every day. And it's something new and exciting every year.
Well, and for those who don't know, this is actually Adam's second chapter with Broken Arrow Public Schools. So don't let him tell you that he's only been here 3 years.
I've been with the district 19 years now.
Okay.
And I've served in many capacities in webmaster, graphic design, photographer, print coordinator, public relations, communications.
Do it all kind of guy.
Sweep and mop, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Yeah. So I've been with BA for a good chunk of time, and it's the perfect place to be.
Well, real quickly, before we get into some of the things you have on your notes, I want to ask you about The Wizard of Oz. I know that show just happened, and certainly
It did.
You enjoyed it. I know you did, right?
So my main goal for that was to be the marketing guy, to get it out there to the people. So we did that through an array of things. We did it through a very aggressive social media campaign. We did it with ArrowVision with a series called Behind the Emerald Curtain to kind of preview like what was coming up. We did it with just going out into the community and like getting businesses to support it. it. Just wanted to pack out that PAC for those kids because they deserve an audience. And we had the highest attendance for the show in recent years. Like there was more than 2,000 patrons that came to the show, and that's a huge deal. Not to me personally, but to the kids because they work so hard.
Yeah,
they work almost as hard, if not harder, than like touring productions I've seen in the real world. Yeah. And so it was just good to me to see that marketing work for those kids.
Absolutely.
And to get that out there.
Yeah. You talked about the number of students you've got, but you're trying to grow that too, right? And you've got what is called the Elementary Music Festival. What's that all about?
So, we start fine arts at grades, kindergarten starting, and they attend music classes with their music teacher, and then visual arts classes with their visual arts teacher. And then, of course, when you get up to the middle school level, it kind of starts dividing into more choices and more specialized stuff. But in the elementary music, kids that are in 5th grade can audition to be in a special choir at each of our elementary school sites. I believe there are 16? 16. And then out of that group, they form a massive choir of about 500 kids. And every year we do a big show with all those kids. They all learn the same music. And then they perform it for all their friends and families. And this year we did it at the new event center, and the show was called Back to Broadway. So it was all Broadway songs throughout the entire, plethora of Broadway that there is. And just to watch those kids move and sing together in rhythm and in rhyme, it was just incredible. And that's a credit to all their amazing teachers who work with those kids. And this is all voluntary for these kids. They don't have to do this. Yeah. So to imagine that 500 kids already at that age know that they want to be in the fine arts, it's just a building block for the rest of the programs. So doing it at the event center, we were able to kind of spread out because before we were in a church and we got too big for the church, so we got kicked out. So at the new event center, we were able to spread out, have more patrons, but on top of that, we made it an actual festival where all of our secondary disciplines came and visited with kids and parents about their next journey into middle school and beyond. Got them interested, let them, the band was there, they got to play instruments.
Last couple songs as well, also the band.
And then the band
live.
played with the kids. Yep. So if imagine you're a 5th grader watching your band play in front of you, like, I want to do that when I get older.
Yeah.
And then our show choir kids came and they walked around in the costume and showed them, like, hey, you can do this when you get to high school. So it was just a great recruitment and retention opportunity for us, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger as we go throughout the years.
Absolutely.
I talk with my hands a lot.
We all do.
I keep finding myself doing this, like karate.
Another really cool thing that you guys have done for a couple of years now that is taking place this upcoming week is the Fine Arts Signing Day.
Yes, next Tuesday.
What does that look like?
So we did it for the very first time last year, and it's like a traditional signing day you find with athletics where a student pledges or signs to a school, and then they show that we're going to the school, and then everybody claps, and it's great. But we've never had that for fine arts, and we have so much dollar amount of scholarships that come in for these kids that go all over the country. All over the country. And so we just started that last year to honor them, and it's gotten even bigger this year. It'll happen next Tuesday at 10 a.m. at the Fine Arts, or not the Fine Arts, at the Student Event Center. And just to see, people asked me 6 months ago, hey, are we doing that again? Hey, are we going to do that again? Getting emails from parents saying, we're going to do that again, right? So we obviously made some sort of impact last year to know that we want to do that year after year after year. It's just another thing to showcase our kids, because I keep repeating this, but I'm just so proud of our students and everything that they put into our school, because then they come back as alumni. You know this because you're an alumni.
Yes,
they come back as an alumni because they're proud of where they came from. They want to give back to the community. So it's really selfish, actually, just to bring them all back in later in a different capacity.
That's the end goal, right?
Yeah, it's pure selfishness.
One thing I definitely want to give Adam a shout out for is the job he does with the promotions and the social media, just the presence and the things that they've done on the Fine Arts account. And if you go and you see the calendar updates and the different content that they have, you can see just the sheer amount of activities and events that you guys have. It's one thing after another between the art shows and the things that you guys are having at Kirkland, the PAC. What else do you guys have coming up?
Well, in any given school year, we have 150 plus events a year.
Wow.
That's concerts, contests, exhibitions, art shows. So we literally have something almost every night of the week. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. But coming up soon, we have a jazz band concert next week. We have a percussion percussion concert the next week. We have all the final choir concerts for each of the middle schools plus the high school. There's so much going on that if you ever just need something to do, there's something to do fine arts wise on any given night of the week.
Absolutely.
In Broken Arrow. And again, it's top-notch performers, even down to the middle schools. Those kids are so disciplined and the teachers are so excited about it that you sometimes will go sit at a concert and be like, are these kids doing this? There's a great one coming up in early May with the high school band. They do all their repertoire, but they do a thing called At the Movies, and they will do a full throttle just show with the movies behind them and playing the scores that right with the movie playing behind them. And this year it's going to honor John Williams.
Is Darren going to be back at the helm for that?
Darren Davis, who's our executive director of fine arts, who was the director of bands, he's coming back to direct that show. And I mean, the music of John Williams, you know that, Jaws, and Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, these are like iconic songs.
Yeah.
So to watch our kids play it, to see the visuals and just watch it, it's a show.
It's
something that you would pay to go see downtown, that you get for free in your own backyard.
Tell me the date again. I want to write that down.
Oh, you would ask that question. I'll get it to you after the show.
It's in May.
Okay.
It's in May. It's in the first week of May. Let's say.
I
think
remember
it's
like May 5th.
Because that does sound
like
interesting. That
I
sounds
think
like
it's.
something
I think
I'd
it's
wanna go
May
to.
the 5th or 6th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have so much success all the way across the board, and recently been given some honors by NFHS.
A national
and,
honor, yes.
OSSAA, correct?
The National Federation of State High School Association honored us last fall as the Performing Arts School of Excellence. It's only given to one high school a year. We're the 9th one to ever have it in the U.S.
Wow.
And it's been given out annually since 2016. And in that same day, the Oklahoma Secondary School Activities gave us the inaugural OSSAA Performing Arts School of Excellence, the first one in the state.
Wow.
So we have set the tone for it nationally and on state level.
That's incredible. That's something that you can wear as a badge of honor. I mean,
It's on my email signature because I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of all the work we've done, for
and
sure.
that speaks to, like you had mentioned, the students that you guys have. I mean, and just being so incredibly talented. And I mean, for it to be the entire fine arts department, that's across the board.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's so many different programs, so many different students that really have made that happen.
And our students wouldn't be who they are without our teachers.
And it's dedication from the early ages.
100%.
I talked to you before we were recording about the quality music teachers that my kids have had here in Broken Arrow.
And just those dedication, because to be a teacher, you want to be a teacher. It's not a profession that everybody wants to do, so if you want to do it, you have a love for it, and our teachers absolutely have a love for it.
Now, I think before we get out of here, we've got to ask you the
I'm
fun
ready.
questions.
I'm ready.
You got to think on
It could
yours
be
at least.
embarrassing. We'll see what happens.
The fun questions. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
And I will say he's a very big music and pop culture guy.
I am. I love music.
That's what
a
has
lot.
made us friends over the years.
But I'll tell you, the one show that sticks out in my mind that I loved was the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
It was
I was not expecting that answer
phenomenal.
from you.
You know, it was a phenomenal concert. It just, the spectacle, the music, it was amazing. I was sitting there amazed the whole night. Yeah, so that's my concert.
Okay. If you're on a desert island,
Oh, Lord.
you can only listen to one album while you're on this desert island. What album is it?
This is going to be so unpopular.
Is it Amy Grant?
It's Amy Grant. I may have a small thing for her. You probably don't know who she is.
I don't.
God bless you. She's one of my favorite singers of all time, and she released an album in 1988 called Lead Me On, and it was named by CCM Magazine as the #1 Christian album of all time.
Okay.
And it is absolutely hands down my favorite album in the entire universe.
Amy Grant.
And then she
Grant.
went pop
Down.
a couple years later, and everybody
And she's
turned on her for a little
only
bit.
sold 30 million albums. She's only married to Vince Gill. So you know who Vince Gill is, don't you?
I do know the name.
Okay,
at least.
well, she's married to Vince
yeah.
Gill.
Okay.
Look it up. You might be surprised.
Okay, let's pivot a little bit. Best Broadway production that you've seen.
Live,
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go live.
hands down, shadow of a doubt, Beetlejuice on Broadway
Okay.
was unbelievable.
Really?
Just the visual aesthetic, but the music in that show, if you've ever seen it, have you
not.
seen it? We're
He's
gonna have
probably
to go,
never even seen
I'm
the
a
movie.
little behind.
Have you
with
seen the
arts.
movie Beetlejuice?
I have not seen the movie.
Okay,
Beetlejuice.
you're gonna have to.
Dylan just turned 25.
I could be your dad. Yeah, Beetlejuice. The movie was great, but the Broadway musical takes it to another level. And I kind of hope that we get to do the high school version in a
would be
couple of
awesome.
years.
Would it be better for me to see the movie first and then the musical?
It
or-
wouldn't matter, but they're
Wouldn't
both
matter. Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
The musical though just kicks you in. You know,
Okay.
it's just got heart, and it's funny. It's funny, and I don't want to describe it because I don't want to ruin it for you. But
Okay.
it's just amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Would Beetlejuice be your favorite movie, or is there another one?
My favorite movie of all time?
Yes. Or you can say movies. I put a parentheses
Yeah,
S there.
because I'm a movie buff too, much like Mr. Spencer, and watch everything. And
Did
honestly,
you go see the Minecraft movie? Because I know he did.
I did not see the Minecraft. I'm too old for that. I don't have kids that young. No, I would say probably. This is a generic one, but anything John Hughes 1980s movies, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, those are my jams.
Yeah.
Those are my
Very rewatchable.
Those are my 80-minute good time movies. So
Comfort
you've
movies,
probably
yeah.
never seen those.
I have seen Breakfast Club. I have seen that one. I've not seen the other two, but I have seen that one.
Okay, we're gonna do a John Hughes marathon together. We're gonna listen to Amy Grant. And we're gonna go watch Beetlejuice.
That sounds
It's
great.
gonna change your entire life.
Well, now I'm going to ask you favorite TV show. So hopefully you've got an answer that I have seen, or else we're going to have a really long marathon.
So this is a really corny answer, but this is one that I could put it on at any time of the day, and it's cheesy as all get out. But Saved by the Bell. It's part of my 90s DNA as a kid. And
I will attest, he will watch it any time of
It's
day. I've
on
seen it in
constantly.
person.
He knows it. It's just one of those shows that if it's on, like, it's mindless, it's cheese, but it's just like, man, that's just such a good time. That's such a different. You've probably never seen
Everybody
it.
loves Mario Lopez. That's what I know.
I mean, he doesn't age. He's amazing. I wish I had his DNA. He's phenomenal.
He's a Dodger fan, too.
Is he a Dodger fan? He gets Greg's stamp of approval.
There you go. Hey, before we get out of here, I want you to talk a little bit about some of these different things that I've already plugged a little bit tonight. But the tryouts for show choir, obviously it's a fantastic.
I'm going to correct you.
Auditions.
It's auditions.
That's the
right.
correct term. Thank you for correcting me.
We have auditions and rehearsals. Sports have tryouts and practices.
Yes. Auditions for show choir, though, are Monday through Friday, May 5th through the 9th. What can students expect, and what's it all about?
Come ready to learn on the spot, because they'll teach you songs and dance right there, which is what Mr. Rosser had said before about you don't need any experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we've had people, for lack of a better term, walk on and just join.
Well,
and
now you're using sports terms
That's a
again.
sports term.
As I said, I know
confusing me now.
I use the sports term walk on, and I'll never use it again. But it's perfect for that, and it also is a community for those kids. What I tell my teachers too, and I keep going back to them, is sometimes a kid comes to school and your class is the reason they come to school. And that's what we love about the arts, is the expression and the safety that they feel with those teachers and their friends in those classes. I went all philosophical.
Beautiful.
That's okay.
Well said.
I enjoyed the answer. It was interesting. Theater Dining Night, April 29th, 4 to 8 p.m. at Oklahoma Joe's, right?
Yeah, and any money that's spent there, they give a proceed or some of the proceeds to it, and that goes, of course, to their Theater Booster Club, which helps with the summer camp, which helps the one act next year. A lot of the stuff they have to do, it costs money. We're in a money world, so that just helps out their program even more. So it's also less fundraising those kids have to do alone to be a part of the program.
And all you got to do is show up and say something
I'm with
about
Broken Arrow Theater. Yeah,
Yeah.
give me chicken sandwich or whatever they have there. Yeah.
Barbecue.
my favorite though is their swanky chicken sandwich. Just because I like to say it and order it.
The chicken colossal or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, BBW or whatever. I meant.
They're okay with this mention. They're getting plenty of publicity.
Last one is the theater camp that you had just mentioned there, the proceeds going toward that. Theater camp June 2nd through the 6th. What's that all about?
I mean, they take these kids, and it's kind of like literally like a theater boot camp. Like they take them in through all ages from sixth grade to 9th grade, and just instill in them all this stuff, and then they actually learn a performance to do at the end of the week that their parents and friends can all come see and watch what they've learned throughout the week. It's really cool. They did it last year for the first time in a couple of years, and the kids they gave them freedom to write their own scenes, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary too, but just seeing their imaginations go wild. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Adam Foreman, we'll schedule a date for us to.
Yes, and I want to tell you where you can find
watch
us
some stuff
real quick before we
Yes.
get off here. Our website is bafinearts.com. and it's all things BA. It has curriculum, it has program, it has names, it has a calendar of events, all that stuff. And then on Facebook, we're at BAPS Fine Arts, and on Instagram, we're at Fine Arts Broken Arrow.
Excellent.
Find us, follow us, and yeah, we got some stuff to do.
Yeah. We'll listen to some Amy Grant.
We'll meet at my house.
We'll watch some Beetlejuice. We'll watch some 80s movies.
That's
we'll,
right.
We'll get it all
and you'll
in.
be like, I quit.
And I will understand every reference you make after that, at least. Hey, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Greg, for hopping up here as well. And thank you for tuning in to the It's Fine podcast. We've been here at Buffalo Wild Wings, and we thank you for tuning in. And we have another show on May 7th with the golf teams, both the boys and girls. And we hope you'll tune into that one here at Buffalo Wild Wings as well. Until then, have a good night, everybody.